Today I'm going to show you how to adjust within the desktop hard drive partition icons. Before we get started, I wanted to show you that there is a separate rox-filer that controls the appearance of icons. So let me just go ahead and start rox-filer, then minus, and then right click options, and then go to Pinboard, and then what we'll do is rather than stay with a white, we'll just make that red color, and also we'll put a little a shadow, which is fine, and we'll make it a little bigger. So we want to go ahead and go to 12, custom font, so it'll be a little bigger, and then go ahead and OK. So that controls the appearance of the hard drive or partition. Now I have one internal hard drive that has a Ubuntu installed. After installation of Ubuntu, I created using gparted these two partitions. One is for PuppyLInux save folders. The other is for files such as photos, music that can be accessed by both Ubuntu and PuppyLInux. I have PuppyLInux SD card that is connected via a USB adapter. So let me just go ahead and start a gparted, and then this is the internal hard drive, and you can see that this SD5 is what I created after installation of Ubuntu, and I labeled SD5 as SAV, save partition, the other as the internal data. So, and then similarly gparted again. This time is the SD card, this is SDH, and this is partitioned into EFI, that's the bootloader, and then this is the puppy files, that so I can truly dual boot with either PuppyLInux files or Ubuntu. And if you look at the PuppyLInux partition, I'm running right now bookworm 64, and then but I do have a Bionic Pup 32, bookworm Pup 32, F96CE4, vanilla dpup 64, and focal pup 32. So I'm running multiple options. The spacing issues. Sometimes a beginner particularly may notice that icons will almost overlap, and what we can do is in situation like that is to go ahead and take a look at the JWMdesk, and within it you want to go to the icon manager, and then here you can see that desktop icons, each drive is on the bottom here, which is fine, but you do have option of putting it on the left or right side, and show desktop icons for each partition. Start gap is 32, so start gap refers to a number of spaces here, 64, and then label for each partition. So the label I put in gparted will also show up below, and then the number refers to height of icons. So we want, this is with a label here on the bottom is gonna, we want to bring it up a little bit more. So let's say 120, let's say. And then we, right now there's a reasonable separation of each icons here, which is 96 pixels here and here. But if you have NVMe drive, or if you prefer to have large fonts, for example here, the fonts may overlap. You may want to increase the spacing. The safest way to do it is just go twice the number that you're starting with. So 96, you can go to 192, let's say. Let's go ahead and 192. And you will want to make sure that these are all clicked once you make any changes. And then we want to go to OK. So let's see what kind of changes we end up with. Now you can see that it's widely separated, and because of the Ubuntu I did not put any partition labels. There's no labels below, but in both the ones that I've created with gparted, there is a labels, and I can tell right away what's in the partition. So in this partition, for example, SD5 will only contain PuppyLInux save folders. So, and then here again is files of music and photos and so on. They can be accessed by both Ubuntu and various PuppyLInux. And then you also notice that it straightened itself out. The overlap of the icons has been straightened out. Adjust the spacing of the above, the height, and the beginning of the pixels here, and so on. But let's say if you want, this is a little too wide, so let's make a further adjustment. So let's go to icons again. Now this is, we want to go back to now sometimes the number, if you just give it a random number of 100, for example, it's going to look a little bit better. But in some systems you may have overlapping of the icons, but it's not doing that in this particular PC that I have. But let's see what happens. What we want to do is we want to make this much smaller, the gap be a little smaller. That's what we want. And then we'll go ahead and go OK. So you can see that gap is much smaller, and this is to my liking. Now one other change is that we can go ahead and consider, and let's say for some reason you want these icons to be in the center. The display is 1920 by 1080 pixels, so roughly around 800 pixels. We can go ahead and start this first SDA1 icon. So let's say roughly try 700, and then go ahead and OK. And we got a desired result. So that's how you do this.